I'm JK with Porn Reboot. Today I'm going to speak on something a little bit different. I know many men who watch my videos who've been trying to quit for a long time. And there are moments when you're doing very well and times when you're just really deep in it, binging, the shame, the guilt, the loss of control. But this does not mean that your life should fall apart. In fact, the main reason why I do this is to help men realize their dreams and their potential. And I don't mean potential in some sort of bullshit motivational way. I actually mean you have goals. There are things that you want in your life, in your career, in your finances, your relationship, your health, and much more. And you're only here because pornography is holding you back. Now, when I quit porn over a decade ago, I literally entered a new reality. And I took advantage of it to create the life that I wanted, and I'm determined in my own small way to help you get there. Porn addiction robs us of productivity. And if you're an ambitious man, today I'm going to share with you 10 steps to increase your productivity while recovering from your porn addiction. During my recovery from porn and masturbation addiction, I was still able to maintain very high levels of productivity in not one, but 2 careers. And these are the steps that I took. Step 1 is look in the mirror. Realize that as a man and as a man struggling with a porn, sex, or masturbation problem, while there may be people who support you in your life, you are the only one who can change your life. No rehab, no counselor, no coach, no guru can impact the life the way you can. And when men get on the phone with me, I always say, I just want to help you become an expert at yourself. You control your time. You may not be able to control your sexual urges as much as you like yet, but the remaining hours of the day are very important. Even if you feel fatigued and demotivated after hours of watching porn, nothing is actually physically stopping you from doing the work. So look in the mirror and tell yourself, no one is coming to save me. I must save myself. I take responsibility for my life. And this is one of the most empowering things that you can do for yourself. Step 2 is keep track of your time. One of the biggest time wasters for men is social media. Personally, I believe that if you are not running a business or your career does not involve social media and you're struggling with porn, you really don't need to be on it. Now, especially when you're recovering from a porn addiction. Spend a day recording how you spend your time. Find out how much time you spend on checking email, commenting, participating, sharing, being entertained on social media. And once you find out that you're actually spending hours on tasks which are not related to your number one goal, move them to the least important part of your day. Step 3, fix your inbox. Many of us have a habit of making our email inbox our to-do list. So you had your plans for the day, but the moment you logged into your email, suddenly random people are dictating your day. So here are some things that you can do to avoid this situation and manage your inbox better. The first thing is don't check your email first thing in the morning. Now, I don't remember where this quote comes from, but it says the fastest way to time travel to 2 p.m. is to check your inbox first thing in the morning. Secondly, turn off all alerts on your computer. So no Facebook alerts, no nothing. Thirdly, put your phone in silent mode when you're working. Personally, my phone is on silent and in another room when I'm writing or mentoring a client or running group sessions. Now, I do have long-term clients who, they sign up for 24 accountability. That's why they're working with me. And I never take more than 3 of these clients a year. So I let them know that for a certain amount of time, I'll be unavailable. The fourth thing is unsubscribe from anyone or anything in your inbox that you're not actively using, and be very aggressive about this. Every day there are people who are trying to sell you something, a product, a service, or an idea. You only have so much energy to devote to these people, and not to be a hypocrite, this includes me. If you are not opening every email from this person, if you're not excited to see their name in your inbox because they bring value to your life, unsubscribe. And this includes me, like I said. And many of you know that I start off a lot of my emails with a big unsubscribe statement. I say, hey, if you don't like this, just unsubscribe. Only deal with people who are engaged and invested in you, or who you are engaged in and they're invested in you. Step 4, create gates. Now, what I mean by gates is in your professional life, set up walls, gates, or boundaries for certain projects that you're working on. So I break my year down into 4 periods of 90 days, and I have set goals for every 90 days. So during that period, if someone reaches out to me to collaborate on something or to speak at an event or to coach them, my staff will review the request, and if it's accepted, we'll let them know that we'll check back with them in 90 days. And if the offer expires within that time, that's okay as well. The point is, I am focused on protecting my number one goal and my priority during any given 90-day period. No distractions, and I suggest you do the same. Now, you may have only 3 or 4 major things to accomplish this year, but if you create boundaries around these periods, like 90-day different sessions, then you're going to achieve a lot by the end of the year. Step 5, learn how to say no. Learn how to do that. Learn how to say no to things that take away from your time. So for instance, every day when I open my inbox, there are going to be dozens and dozens of emails from men and women asking for help or feedback or guidance with a porn, sex, or masturbation related issue for them or for a family member. Now, when someone has the courage to reach out for help with an issue like this, it usually means that they've hit rock bottom and nothing else is working. However, many times the answer to their specific question is on one of these videos, or it's in one of my free courses. So I send them to that resource. Sometimes people don't want that resource. They want someone to give them the solution or the answer. Sometimes they want to speak to me directly or email back and forth about the subject, and that's fine. So they're redirected to an application page to fill out an application and set up an appointment to speak to me based on my availability. Unfortunately, some people don't want to go through any of that, and they demand an answer right away. And I understand the sense of urgency for them, but for me, I have to say no at that point. And you have to learn how to say no as well. Whether it's to friends and family that want to hang out during your productive hours, or people involved in your career who are asking for more than you can give. Now, my natural instinct is to help everyone, and I used to try to do that. But I realized very quickly that I had the most impact on helping people quit their porn and masturbation problems when I focused on a small group of committed people. Step 6 is block your time. Now, I believe it was Grant Cardone who said, "You want to meet the devil? Show me white space on your calendar and I'll show you the devil." Now, block off times on your calendar for when you are most efficient. Some people are more efficient in the morning. Some people are more productive during the day. Some are more productive in the evening, and you know yourself. During that time or during those days put aside for very important work, don't schedule anything with anyone else. So for almost a decade while I was running a training company, my parents, my family, and my friends knew that I only took calls from them on Sundays, unless it was a serious health or life or death emergency. The rest of the time was spent on my work. So if you have a family or if you're in a relationship, I highly recommend blocking off time to spend with them. Don't let anything come in the way of either time spent with your loved ones or your friends or with work. Step 7, focus. Do one thing at a time. Multitasking, guys, it doesn't exist, okay? Now, some of you are reading a book, responding to a text thread, checking if a girl messaged you back on some dating app. Some of you are looking at, the number of likes you received on your last Instagram post. Each time you take your attention away from your one focus, it takes more energy to refocus. Eventually, you find yourself unable to complete the task, or you're just exhausted. So pick one thing. Give yourself a time limit, like 45 minutes or an hour, to just go at it till your timer goes off. Then set another timer to focus on other non-work related activities, like responding to texts from friends and family. And you'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish. Step 8, take care of your body. Now, to keep it simple, how much you rest and what you eat and how you exercise affects your productivity greatly. In terms of sleep, honestly, I'm hardly a role model because I'm used to 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and I've trained myself to thrive on these hours over many years. However, ideally during recovery, while you're trying to quit porn and be productive, 7 to 9 hours are great. When you recover, feel free to cut down on your sleep hours if you desire. The earlier you go to bed, the better. Now, when you go to bed early, you wake up earlier, and that gives you time to start your day right. And there's a huge difference between going to bed at 1 a.m. and waking up at 9 a.m. and going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at 5:30, to 6 a.m. In the former, the morning is almost over. It's difficult to generate a sense of accomplishment when you wake up that late. On the other hand, when you wake up at 6, you can get more done before 9 a.m. than most people will in an entire day. I know I do. And that gives you momentum to have a great day. Now, what you eat is fuel for your body. Now, I advocate eating as clean as possible because it allows your body to function like a clean machine, an efficient machine. If you eat fast food or a lot of processed foods, it's going to slow you down, not just physically, but it's going to slow down your thinking as well. And in terms of diet, find out what works for you. Personally, I fast and skip breakfast. So my most productive time is in the morning, and I found that when I eat first thing in the morning, I get slightly drowsy because a lot of the blood, which should be going to my brain, instead goes to my digestive system to digest my breakfast. And I also work out in the morning, and I do so on an empty stomach. And this helps me burn fat and get my body ready for the day. So that's what works for me. Find out what works for you. But the important thing is to remember that getting adequate rest, eating clean, and exercising daily are crucial to productivity during recovery. Step 9, purge. Now this means clear your life of everything which is unnecessary. The barometer to measure whether something should be in your life or not is whether you love it and if it brings you happiness. Now this applies to your office, it applies to your work, to your relationships. Now once a year I go through my offices and I get rid of everything that I've not used for the past year. Random notes, ideas that I'll never act on, even books. Now I have a huge library, and if you're an ambitious, growth-minded professional, you probably do as well. And it can be very hard to let go of some books. Part of purging for books is going through your library and getting rid of books which you have never read, and they're also older than 6 months. So this includes, those language books you bought when you thought you were going to learn Spanish, or self-improvement books which you were sure that you were going to read someday, books which you bought on a whim, and books which were, you only read them once a few years ago, but you never referred to them again. Ask yourself, does the thought of this book, or does the knowledge that I will gain from reading it bring me happiness in the long run? If it doesn't, let the book go. It's amazing, but when you reduce clutter, you create so much peace of mind. It's just one of those things which you have to actually do to truly experience that sort of peace of mind and clarity. The same goes for relationships. Now, I have some of my clients at some point in their recovery go through their phones and delete all contacts that they have nothing to do with anymore. Some professionals have thousands of contacts, and whether it's co-workers or employees from a past career, women whose numbers who you got 10 years ago, past lovers, random people you met while traveling, business contacts who are no longer working with you, acquaintances from college, delete their numbers, okay? If they're no longer relevant to your productivity and happiness, just let them go, Keep the relevant ones. When it comes to people in your life, the same concept applies. Are there people who are taking away from your schedule? If there are people in your life who are not contributing towards your growth or happiness, let them go as well. Now, I know that sounds harsh, but remember, this is for recovering porn addicts who want to be productive. You are already struggling with quitting pornography, which is costing you a lot of time and energy. People who are in your life to simply hang out, party, entertain you, or get something from you are really a waste of your precious energy. Remove them from your life and become very selective about who you bring into your life. Make sure it's people who increase your happiness, people who are growth-minded, people who are positive, people who have their own goals. Just because someone is exciting or entertaining or beautiful or cool doesn't necessarily mean that they're a positive contribution to your life in terms of your recovery from porn addiction. Step 10, develop positive routines. Routines are so important to your productivity because they save you time and energy. Now, when you have a routine, you don't need to think. Okay, your brain is an autopilot and it frees up energy for other things. So there are many things in your life which you can automate or make routines. So for instance, your mornings, okay? So prepare for the morning the evening before. This means that you should have the clothes which you're going to wear, laid out for the next day. And some very productive people even have their meals prepped for the next day or the next few days. So you wake up in the morning and you don't need to think. You roll out of bed, you put on your workout clothes, you go running or you go to the gym. When you come back, you shower, you change, you have breakfast, and you start the day the same way every single day. Now compare that to waking up every morning, not knowing what you're going to do, not knowing whether you're going to brush your teeth first, or whether you're going to look at your phone first, or spend 20 minutes figuring out what you're going to wear, sitting on the fence as to whether to go to the gym in the morning or should I go in the evening. By the time the most important tasks of your day begin, you've already expended so much mental and sometimes physical energy on simple tasks which could have been routines. So introduce positive routines into your life. So there you have it. Those are the 10 steps to productivity as a recovering porn addict. Now obviously I would love it if these were the 10 steps for productivity for anyone and had nothing to do with the recovering porn addict part. But we have to start somewhere, and I don't feel that when we struggle with things like porn, sex, or masturbation addiction, I don't think that our whole life should grind to a halt because of that. So I really hope you found this helpful. And if you did, subscribe to my channel and share this with 3 men whom you feel it will help. And visit me at pornreboot.com.